Yo, what up? It is the 16th of May 2024 and it is currently 10:33 p.m. on a Thursday. And there's some money on my front lawn. Who did that? It's mine. I left it yesterday. What mail? From Mum. When asked the secret to winning raffles, I like to mix it up by saying things like utter disinterest. I don't get it. Bye-bye. Not a good enough letter for me to keep. Oh, who's walking by? It's Hugh, of course. You love me, you love me not. You love me, you love me not. I love you. I love green peppers not. Poor Hugh. Oh! This black rose is wilted, which means tomorrow it's going to be a gold rose, which is awesome. So, how many gold roses is that? That's 9, 10, 11. 11? Which, yeah, there's still a lot of these yellow flowers here. And, you know, I've said it again. I say it once, I'll say it again. The idea is all of those yellow flowers are going to be gold roses, and it's going to look awesome. I am, still using Rolfton as, like, a flower breeding town, and I've tried to... What I've done is, like, put path tiles all over it, so that it, flowers don't spawn, because the way that flowers work in this game is that they just make a couple flowers spawn every day, and that flower spawning, I'm pretty sure, uses the same, like, or I should say flower breeding uses the same, like, I guess, references that. So the amount of flowers that spawn per day includes the amount of flowers that, you know, are bred, you know, that are the result of breeding. Is it breeding or, different word that I'm looking for there? I mean, it is breeding, like, it's two of the same species of a thing, and then they, you know, make a hybrid. It's hybrids, I guess. You'd call the result a hybrid. You wouldn't call it, like, a baby. Oh, Katrina is here. You know what? Do I even bother? Actually, yes, so that I have an excuse to put her in the thumbnail. I'm very much struggling with, thumbnails because I have to just, like, make sure I'm not using characters, like, too, often, like, repetitively. Kiha moata, kiha moatata, yihe hatatata. I will foresee your future for just 100 bells. Tell me. I possess many powers, yes. I can tell your future for today, or I can tell how compatible you are with another. Which do you want to know? I used to think that compatibility thing was, like, a little in-game way to see your friendship with another villager, but no, it's just like a made-up thing. Like, you just type in a person, like, you know, I guess. Let us begin. Ki ha ha moatata, ki ha ha moataratata, luta manako batata. Ahem, I'm through. The cards have spoken. It is the book symbol in its inverted state. A distribution manual with pelican symbols on it sits before your eyes. Inside, it is filled with vague words. Dial in, outside the box, deep dive. It makes one think that nothing will ever get distributed correctly. Yes, very well. We have strictness, polarity, and threat. So, what does this portend? Perhaps it means nothing. Perhaps it may mean everything. That is all. Yes, I will require 100 bells. Much happiness should come your way. Or not. Sometimes it is just not meant to be. You know what? I don't like fortune tellers, but I at least respect that Katrina admits that there is basically no absolutes in that. Maybe? Maybe not. She just tells you what's happened, you know? She lays the cards in front of you, and then whatever it, you know, it is what it is. But real life fortune tellers can be very manipulative. At least the fake ones. Hey, would you do me a tiny little favor? Would you deliver a package to Marina for me? So you think you can do it within 10 minutes, or is that too hard for you? I can do that. God. What do you think I'm an idiot or something? In fact, hell, I'll halve it. I'll do it in 5. Yeah, I mean, are there real fortune tellers? Like, it isn't, you know, it's not real. I mean, at least I don't think it is. I don't know, is that controversial? Or is it like a social faux pas to say something like that? I mean, I think that's a pretty generally accepted thing, is that fortune telling. It's like magic. Like, you know, it's a fun little thing, but it's not real. That's the problem, is that, like, people go to fortune tellers for, like, real stuff. And they, you know, I mean, there's been ones, there was a famous one, I forget which news network it was. It might have been, don't know if it was a current affair. I don't actually remember. It's an Australian, it was in Australia. I don't know if it was an Australian specific news place, but they like, they did like a fake, almost like a sting operation with an infamous, like, fake fortune teller, where the woman, they had, like, the anchor person interviewing the woman shows her a picture of her as, like, a child, but they're pretending that she's, like, a little girl that got lost in the woods or something like that. Or, you know, they are on that side, but they're telling the fortune teller that, and obviously she's, you know, eating that all up because she doesn't actually know anything. But I think the reason why they exposed her in particular was because she was, like, making people pay, like, tons of money to see her, and, you know, only for her to give wisdom that isn't actually true. It's not exactly an industry that I think many people would support. That huge machine in Tom Nook's shop talks. It talks. It says stuff like, your point balance is, and thank you very much. Who's the unlucky slob they stuck inside that thing? Yeah, like the guy who lives inside R2-D2. I think he died. That's kind of weird, though, that, you know, back in the day you'd have something like that done by an actor. Whereas now they'll do anything to not have to hire another actor unless they're just a big name that they can put on the poster. I remember the Sonic movie came out, and they didn't even, like, the guy who voices Sonic is Ben Schwartz. He's been in, like, you know, he's been around, I guess. At least he's always in voice acting, but, you know, he's voices Sonic in the movies, so it fits right in. But they didn't even put his name on the poster. They did, like, James Marsden and Jim Carrey, who obviously are the other 2 stars of the movie, sure, but the title says Sonic the Hedgehog, and they don't list the voice actor for Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, it's so stupid, but it's all just money. It's just status of whatever actors get shown at the top of the poster from, like, I think it's like a left to right thing. Oh, Tangy's sick. I've got medicine. Yeah, but posters, I think it's called billing, where like, posters will order the actors by, like, status and money and stuff, because you know, it's all a marketing ploy. Hence why the new Garfield movie is getting Chris Pratt to be the voice of Garfield, because you know, that's a name. That's the thing, so, like, that's, like, that was a controversial thing I recall when the trailer came out, was like, oh, they got Chris Pratt again, like they did in Mario, and now this. And I think there's, like, the argument that people make about, like, oh, the amount of effort they put into the delivery, and, like, you know, how much it sounds like the character. For me, I couldn't care less about how much effort a voice actor puts in. It's all about whether or not that performance ends up sounding correct. And for Garfield, it's a pretty specific amount of, like, you know, monotony, like, you know, being monotone, monotonous style of delivery that Chris Pratt doesn't do. And the reason why he doesn't do it is because he's just speaking. Like, he isn't Granted, well, I mean, okay, to give him credit, it's not like he's literally just speaking. Like, you still have to cadence and stuff like that. It's not like he's, it's not a cold read or anything. But he isn't really, he's not modulating his voice at all. It's basically just the voice he does for everything that he voice acts. Which, like, like I said, I don't care if that's the case. My only issue is whether or not that ends up sounding correct. Because I guess, a good example, I don't know, like Norm Macdonald, who did unfortunately pass away, but, when he was alive, he'd do voice acting for stuff. And basically every time he voice acted stuff, he's a comedian, so he's not a voice actor he wasn't a voice actor, as his main thing. Every time he'd voice act in something, his, like, delivery was very, like, he's a deadpan, style of speaking. That's why his comedy was so, like, well-known and well-liked, even to this day. And so, yeah, his delivery and stuff is deadpan and, like, very, low energy. But it's a very, he's got a very iconic, like, good voice. And, I mean, ironically, he'd probably be a pretty good Garfield, come to think of it. Oh, hey, Cube. But in his case, when they casted him for stuff, it would fit. The voice would fit. It's not like they got Norm Macdonald to play a character. They got him to play, like... I can't even think of a good character example. But, I mean, I guess you know what I mean. Like, you gotta... If you're gonna just... if you're gonna hire a voice actor for the voice, then that voice better match the character, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Finally, this Sunday's the fishing tourney. I heard the prize this year is amazing. I'm gonna fish like mad. Say us, Monkey, are you a talented angler? Yes, naturally. Fine, but I'm not gonna lose to you. You might have opposable thumbs, but I've got charm to lure the fish with. And lots of milk. Okay. Yeah, so... I don't care about Chris Pratt in the slightest. In fact, he's literally, like... he's a very nothing actor to me. Like, I don't care about him at all. A graduation gown? What on earth are you talking about, Peewee? Do I even have that? Yes. Apparently. You look darn good walking around the waterfront turning heads. Yeah, pretty much for the talk of the town. Yeah, if I come across a graduation gown, I'll let you know. Anyway... yeah, I don't have a problem with Chris Pratt. My problem is the executives that always decide to hire him for stuff because he's just a name. And that's the thing. Is I will stand by this, and this is my reasoning, is that if you were trying to get the voice for Garfield in the new Garfield movie... and every single voice actor they were considering sent in a completely anonymous submission with just the voice delivery, which, is kind of part of the job, then they would never in a million years pick Chris Pratt, because he doesn't sound like Garfield. And I don't care what anyone says, he doesn't sound like Garfield at all. And yet they do, and that's the thing, is that they're not hiring him for the voice, they're hiring him because it's a name you put on the poster and in the trailers to get people's attention. Hell, I'm talking about it right now, it's obviously working. Like, if they just hired a guy, who's not as well known, but who can do a pretty good Garfield, then I probably wouldn't even be talking about it right now, because it would just be good. So... that's that. I don't know. I just think voice acting is treated pretty, for lack of a better word, shit. It's just not, like, it's not seen as a valued, career. Even though it's, like, very, I'd argue, I'd say overall acting, like, physical acting is harder than voice acting. There's a little more demanding things, especially because of the variety of roles. Sometimes you're doing your own stunts like Tom Cruise and stuff like that. But I will say that in terms of voice acting, there is like that element to it that you have to convey a character completely through voice. You're not allowed to use, facial expressions or body movements. So you are putting an element of yourself up to like be, like maybe not manipulated, but up to be like changed or edited by other elements of the movie or of the whatever you're voice acting in. So like I guess an example would be like, or what I mean is, do I need any of this stuff? So like if you're physically acting, you're emoting, your body is moving, your facial expressions, all of that stuff. The thing with voice acting though is that you don't get any of that across, which means that it's up to other people in other parts of the production, like animators, for example, to make sure that your voice is given the proper corresponding like movement and stuff. And in some cases you have to match pre-existing movements if they do like an animatic that you're voice acting to. So it's like, I wouldn't necessarily say voice acting would be harder. Mind you, this is coming from someone who doesn't act, or at least not, I don't anymore. I used to do it in high school, but haven't done it since. But voice acting, I think, just gets a bad rap in general because, people nowadays with celebrities, people completely go nuts over them, which I guess has always been a thing, to be fair. But it's the people are obsessed with the way they look and the way they like physically act. So voice acting is like just by virtue of not having that visual element of the actors is like not usually as focused on, I guess. I don't know. It's hard for me to articulate what I mean. But I just think that people don't really appreciate voice actors enough. The other thing with voice actors is that it's also just sort of annoying to like recognize voice actors. Like I'm kind of conflicted because I like being able to be, I don't want to say smart enough, but I guess like knowledgeable enough that I can hear a voice in something and know what voice actor that is, or like just what actor in general it is, and that's a cool feeling. But at the same time, there are certain voice actors who have like just a specific style, and that's basically all they do. And so hearing those voices, I guess Chris Pratt would be an example where pretty much in everything he sounds the same. It's kind of annoying hearing them appear in so many things. But no, I mean, it is. I'd say I think voice acting is really cool though. Like it's very cool. I mean, and I think the thing that emphasizes that the most is how many things have bad voice acting, because that really gets you realizing the value of good voice acting. That really, you're not supposed to. You don't really notice it as much. But that's my entire thing on voice acting, I guess. But in the ideal world, really, everything would be voiced the way Animal Crossing voice, where it's just the sounds of the syllables, or the letters, actually. I think that's what it is. I'm pretty sure it is just like, I guess. I'm trying to listen, like. I'm pretty sure Animalese, which is the name of the language that the animals speak in Animal Crossing, is just, they say every individual letter. So, I mean, it's really, like, sped up. Let me, like... It's really, like... You can kind of hear it with words that end with R. Like, it kind of sounds like it's going... Just listening to his voice. Fresh, you ate poached salmon. Cocoa over salmon? I don't think it would taste good. A little bit good. Come down off your snobby horse and try something unique. I bet you only chow on frozen poached salmon. Live a little. Okay, you tell me. You do that, Antonio, and tell me how it is. One game series that I really think could benefit from voice acting would be Pokemon, because it's like, I feel like the thing with Pokemon is like, there's so many things that aren't in it that should be in it. Like, just, I guess, more general things like, you know, performance issues not being a thing, but also just, like, features that are in so many modern games with lower budgets. Tape deck. Okay. Half. Realistic, I don't feel like selling anymore. Well, I didn't actually give you a number. Oh, Pango. Hello, Pango. Yeah, Pokemon really should have voice acting by this point, at least in my opinion. Hey, do you think these clothes look hot on me? Very stylin'. Really? I knew you'd like my style. You and me are so the it personalities in this backwater town. Oh, I'm glad I'm an it. Don't know what that means. I guess I'm just it, you know? And you know, that thing... Okay, the only reason why I think Pokemon has a voice acting, it isn't even a budget thing necessarily. It's that they write scenes that are very clearly trying to elicit, like, emotional impact, and yet the only thing they can do is have text appear on screen while characters are moving around. And there's, like, sound effects playing in the background, and it's so awkward and weird. It's like, why not have voice acting? It's just so bizarre. It's not a thing where, like, if the next Pokemon game is shown and doesn't have voice acting, I'm not gonna buy it. Like, it's not a make or break thing. I just think that it should be a thing. That's just how I feel, though. Okay, for a cup of job to pick you up, it's 200 bells. What bloom would you like? Usual. Cool. Got the specialized one today, but it turned out a little differently. I mean, even just, like, sounds. Like, Animal Crossing has sounds. In fact, I'm pretty sure every modern Nintendo franchise with talking has a talking sound for every character, except Pokemon. There we go. At the perfect temperature to bring out the flavor. 176 degrees. One fresh brewed cup. Drink up. Thanks. Fee! Bitter. So bitter. It's like a banshee screaming in my taste buds. Thanks. But yeah, like, Mario's talking sounds. In fact, the latest Mario game actually does have voice acting. Zelda has talking sounds in, like, Breath of the Wild. Like, and I don't even mean, like Animal Crossing where it's like... I just mean, like... that was a good impression of that, by the way. I just mean, like, you know, a sound associated with them talking. Like, you talk to an NPC in Breath of the Wild, and they'll make a sound, and then their dialogue will show up. Like, it's implying the sound. Or, well, it's showing you the sound, but it's just implying it with a whole bit of dialogue, is what I mean, I guess. To get an image of their voice. An image. An idea of their voice. But Pokemon, like, yeah, so Mario has that, Zelda has that, Splatoon has that, Pikmin 4 had it. By the way, shout out to Pikmin. I don't know, I'm pretty sure everything, like, but except for Pokemon. Like, not even a sound? I don't know. I feel like at the very least they could do something like that. But, you know, if this was about me talking about things I don't like about Pokemon, then we'll be here for a year and a half. That's gonna be about it for today.